just here with other neighbors to talk about the flooding on Babbitt Court. So this is my second time going through it. My neighbor John's second time, and this is their first time going through it. So we want to talk about help lifting our houses up to avoid the, if this happens again, to avoid the flooding. So I know Mr. Fine was just talking to us earlier about going through FEMA to get a grant, which is fine, but I think, you know, you guys applying would be a lot faster than us going through it. You know, you guys have more of a direct contact. Part of the other issue is the timing. You know, you guys would probably get a lot faster, and it took 7 months the last time for us to get back into the house. So we need the money yesterday. So we're hoping that, you know, if you guys can get a direct contact, we could probably get the money, hopefully, before winter, because the process takes about 6 weeks to raise a house. And we would definitely like to get that done before winter comes and not take 7 months to get back into the house. So could you give us a timeline of how fast you guys could get it contacted to FEMA and to get the grant money to us so we could begin that process of raising our homes?
I've been meeting with FEMA. I met with their government liaison yesterday and the SBA, and they indicated that everybody should apply. First, you know, you have to apply for FEMA. What I'm doing is I'm reaching out to people in the community, and we're keeping a list of everybody who wants their properties, you know, raised, and then I'm going to see if there's a way where, you know, FEMA would work with a collective, you know, group, but, you know, we have to follow the processes of FEMA, because I will also reach out to the congressional, our senators and members of Congress, and, you know, do whatever I can to expedite the process. But they may need individual, you know, applications. But but again, you know, to me, the raising of, you know, of homes is a real sensible, you know, approach, because, you know, there were people, Babbitt Court, Florence Avenue, you know, Warren, Manhattan Avenue, in Hartsdale there were, you know, some streets, you know, you know, throughout the town. You know, I feel that if we could get like a list of a bunch of people, and then, you know, work with everybody, so this way we could, you know, get this expedited. You know, I'll do whatever I can to, you know, to help.
You mentioned a 75-25 split. So
But that was the last time, in 2004. But, you know, we could also reach, the county has a fund for flood mitigation, but they've used it for like flood, you know, relief, you know, drainage improvements, and maybe we could ask the county if they would consider allowing, you know, localities to use the funds to offset some of the costs that residents are going to have. But again, the first thing I want to do is get like a list of people who want their property, you know, are interested in having their properties uplifted. And I should mention, there's probably like 10 or 11 people who have contacted me, you know, so far, and I'm sure there'll be more.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that, you know, I've been meeting with the building inspector and the town engineer and the Department of Public Works. We have another meeting tomorrow, and I'm going to follow up. And I'm hoping that you could just leave your number with the security guard, Corey, and I will call you at about 11:30 tomorrow and just follow up with you on where we're at.
But could you maybe email, you know, you know, me and everybody in Babbitt Court, just saying you're interested, so I could keep records. And then yesterday I spoke to Carl Pfeiffer, who lives on Babbitt Court, and he indicated that he would also be willing to make a presentation to the community, to those people who want to uplift their homes, highlighting how it changed his life. Because I remember before that, we needed rowboats to get to homes on Babbitt Court, and people lost a lot. And after the recent storm, you know, he was not as stressed out as he was, in the early 2000s when we had other storms.
Yeah, but again, just leave your number. I promise to call you about 11:30 tomorrow. Leave me a cell phone number. If you're not available, then I'll leave my number and you can call me back.
Okay, well, have others on the block who want to speak.
Okay. That's good.
But, my office, we have a group of volunteers, about 25 volunteers, who offer to work with individuals getting help from FEMA and the SBA because it's a very cumbersome, process. So we're starting that, now, and my assistant, Krista Matson, is familiarizing herself with the whole FEMA application process, and anyone who needs the help of, my office will give individual help filing applications, making appeals, if they're rejected. I want to do everything possible to make this as stressless as possible for residents.
I've also been working with the county to get a location, a FEMA location, so we can have a representative come and help residents fill out the paperwork and answer any questions that you may have. So I'll follow up with them again. I was hoping that I would have an answer today so I can make that announcement at this meeting, but I didn't get the information. So I will follow up with them, with the county again tomorrow. So hopefully we can have the location. I will say that I am looking at the Greenberg Library, so we can have enough space, enough room. I already spoke to the library, so we can have residents come in, speak with their FEMA representatives so they can walk you through the process, because I know this is a challenging process. So we want to make sure that you are fully educated and you fully understand exactly what the process entails. Okay?
And also,
Oh, just one other thing before I forget, just when you send the email, just make sure you include the town board, not just directly to the supervisor, so we're all aware of your information, so we can have your information as well.
right, and 2 weeks from yesterday, I invited both FEMA and the SBA to attend a work session of the town board, and the SBA tentatively agreed to it yesterday, and FEMA says they need clearance from their superiors, but I want to make it sort of like a question and answer session and a presentation, so this way, if residents have questions about the process, they'll get answered at the work session. Hopefully FEMA will participate, but it's they met with me for over an hour, and they met with my assistant the day before for an hour and a half, and it's very, very, confusing, the whole process. You have to go to FEMA, you have to then possibly go to the SBA, and it's just very, very aggravating. They also indicated that sometimes you should get an SBA loan, which is very low interest, which sometimes gets forgiven by the federal government, and sometimes people get the SBA loans and they pay it back with the grants that they'll eventually get from FEMA. But we'll do whatever we can to help people get the maximum funds possible.
If you write to town board, no space between the words, townboard@greenbergny.com, all five of us get the email.
Town board.
TOWNBOARD, town board, but write it as one word, no spaces, no hyphen, @greenbergny.com. All five of us get that email.
Okay. Anandi Soto.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Town Board. My name is Anandi Soto. I just moved into 9 Babbitt Court, Elmsford, 3 months and a half ago. And I raised my children in the town of Westbury for over 20 years. Decided to size down and to move into Westchester, following my daughter, who is a teacher in White Plains High School. She owns her condo on Bronx River Parkway in Yonkers, and she and I searched for a home, of course, with my partner. And we moved in 3 months and a half ago, all new furniture, all new appliances. I noticed that on the street, in that court, only 5 houses were lower than the others. All the other houses are raised. It was traumatic. It was horrible. I've never been through this. The water gushed in. It was like a watershed coming from the Sawmill River. There is an irrigation problem. There is a problem with water in that area and with the Sawmill River. I'm not an expert, but what I saw and endured and had to save most of my things, which I could not because of the velocity of the water and the thickness and the backup that was in that water. It was horrible. My partner had bruises. I had bruises in my legs. We called, we made it to the upstairs room with no water, no food. We called various times, 911, 211, 311, and finally, the fire department called me back. They advised for us to pick up our things the least possible, and that they would come in a raft to pick us up. This court became, I say a lake. It's horrible. And so many people that have their homes raised there, they just clean up their basement, take out all their furniture, and they stay quiet. It's not right. There are elderly people there. I work full-time, but I see a lot, and I want to be part of the community. We need your support, we need action, and we need some turnaround, some quick turnaround to get us back and to get our homes back, our own livelihood. Thank you very much.
Well, I will commit that I will give priority to expediting, the FEMA, process, so this way you could uplift your home like, the other homes. I mean, we did this in 2004. There is a process, and we don't control FEMA, but I will definitely, you said you're going to email me, and I will definitely reach out to the congressional, to Senator Schumer's office, to Senator Gillibrand, to Congressman Mondaire Jones, and see if we could really get them to expedite the process. And I will also reach out to the government liaison from FEMA and highlight the fact that you're not living
We're
in your home
homeless.
now, and
We're homeless. We
you
can't
really
get in.
need to process this, very, very quickly. So if you could email me today, if you email me tonight, I'll do it before I go to sleep. If you otherwise, I'll work on it tomorrow. But you could call me like every day, and I'll give you progress report.
With all due respect, and I know it's past my time, Mr. Feiner, the insurance, the flood insurances, all these companies, they have such red tape going on. They really take a very long time. I know that they're overwhelmed. It was a big hit. It was like Sandy, but I think this was worse. But it's just a long process, and they don't connect. So the insurance, FEMA, Red Cross are not in one page. They are off-balanced, and if we get an SBA loan and we do things without the county knowing, it's wrong. Because
but
we have
that's
to
what
think
I'll-
about our other peers. And these are all our neighbors.
Do you know, maybe.
They're going through the same thing.
What I'm thinking of is, I sent notes, Rich Fund, the Commissioner of Public Works, yesterday gave me the list of, what is it, probably, Rich, about 7 or 8 streets in the town that, where it's been really, horrible. So I sent a letter to everyone on those streets today, and I basically asked them if they're interested in lifting up their homes. I'm getting a list. I think it's going to be a bunch of people. Then what I'll do is, we'll try doing something cooperatively with the community. I'll reach out to FEMA, I'll reach out to SBA. You have to reach out to everybody. And then, we'll try coming up with a plan to get this expedited. And when I speak to Senator Schumer's office, because I've been working very closely with them on a bunch of things, I'll highlight the fact that, this is an emergency for people because you're homeless. It's every day that you're out, it's costing, funds. You indicated before the meeting that you're not getting, reimbursed for the hotels and stuff like that, so.
My neighbor is not,
Right.
Yes.
So that's something that I really want to work on. So this is going to be really, priority, and I'm really thrilled that, the residents of Babbitt Court showed up tonight, because I think it really highlights, the importance of getting this process expedited. I mean, you can't wait, months, and FEMA sometimes takes forever. Today, I was speaking to the owner of Enrico's on Hartsdale. We had a meeting, and then I went and I was talking to some of the merchants. The process is so cumbersome, and it's lengthy, and you fill out an application, and then you get rejected, and then you have to appeal, and then there's SBA's involved and FEMA. It's not like a one application thing. So I want them to be, the congressional delegation, to be aware that people are really suffering, and
thank you.
and
Something
again,
to be done with the Sawmill River in that area.
Yeah,
There's a
well-
huge problem.
Right,
It's
yes.
irrigation. There is really a huge problem where there's watershed. The water is just frightening. And there's miles and miles away from our home, but this water just takes over. There's no tubing, there's the irrigation, I'm not sure what's going on, that it all comes to one court, which is Babbitt Court. And I'm in the center of the court, and it just goes up to 10 feet. And people just, because their houses are raised already, they stay shy. They move their cars. They park their cars at the local, thank you, and the Teamsters. And that's where we saved our cars. Why?
We're familiar
Because
with this issue, Ms. Soto, and that's why their houses are raised, because back in 2011, this was an issue. So
Right.
we're very
2004,
familiar with
yeah.
that.
Okay,
and
So we
I
know-
was,
we know.
I was involved in getting the homes raised in 2004, so I'm very familiar with the process, and I guarantee you that we're going to do everything humanly possible to get this expedited. I think you'll feel the town is definitely, working really hard, and we'll get results, and you'll get the funding to, to make this happen.
thank you, Mr. Reiner.
The other thing is, we could set up a meeting, I'll call Congressman Jones, and, we could set up a meeting with the members of Congress also, to put pressure. But we could do that tomorrow, if you want to even meet with me, set up another meeting.
We're all united, we're all
We'll
together, it's
work-
all a team here.
We'll
It's all
work really, really
fine.
hard on this.
And again, I just want to extend my apologies and my sympathy. I'm so sorry that you guys are really going through this. I saw the picture, and I can't even imagine. I'm holding back my emotions right now, and I'm so sorry. One thing I just want you to please, 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 make sure you save every cent, every receipt, everything that you have spent on this time. Please, please, please find an envelope, a folder, anything, make sure you keep your documentation, because that's one thing I know about FEMA. I work for a state authority. We have to have everything. So please, the littlest thing, whether you think you bought a piece of gum, please, and it's related, please, please, please keep that receipt, because you're going to need all the paperwork. They're going to require a ton of paperwork. And again, like I said, I will be working again with the county so we can make sure we can have that representative come over to the library. And
Thank you,
again,
Ms. Johnson.
please accept all of our,
I appreciate it.
sympathy for what you guys are experiencing.
Janelle, in the control room, are you able to display the picture that I have of Babbitt Court from the drone shot that we have on the screen behind us?
While she's looking for that, we have a few more speakers. Jeanette Rodriguez.
Otherwise, maybe she can, Plan B here is maybe she can zoom in on this picture, and if you haven't seen it, you live at Babbitt Court, you might want to take a look.
eyes, I don't want you.
Maybe she can pick it up with that camera. The water, what makes that picture so dramatic is the water just came within a fraction of an inch of the height of many of the above-ground pools. And so in this sea of mud, muddy water, you have the crystal blue water inside the pool on a number of pools. It's surreal. You can't tell that the Elmsford Little League is there. I'm hoping she can get that shot, and I hope that we're still working on some of the Zoom room features. It's absolutely devastating to see the magnitude. I believe this is worse than the previous one. And what made this one particularly worse is how quickly it occurred. For example, we lost 6 DPW vehicles. And frankly, when I heard that we lost 6 DPW vehicles, our Department of Highway are the ones that know that there is a problem, right? How did we not get the vehicles out of there? And it turns out that the surge, the wave of several feet high, coming from nothing to all of a sudden it just came. We're lucky we didn't have more fatalities. Forget about the vehicles. We're lucky we didn't have more fatalities. This was truly, truly an unbelievable, hopefully never to be repeated, but you never know, storm event. But we were out to help with documentation for FEMA. We put up our drones. These happen to be a police drone, but we also have Parks and Rec with a drone to help with the. Am I not? Oh, geez.
You don't need to start.
That's okay. But basically, what I was saying is that we have a picture of Babbitt Court. We have other drone pictures that we took, and the purpose of us taking the drone pictures during the storm or right after the storm is to help you with documentation that you may need, because you don't have that opportunity to put a drone up and say, this is, FEMA, we're not kidding here, right? And they'll say, oh, yes, everybody's saying they got flooded, they flooded. And then you see something like that. And so we are hoping that that will help us help the residents to recover more from this just devastating loss.
Okay, so my name is Jeanette Rodriguez, and I reside on Babbitt Court. The night of the flood, something said to me, go take a peek out the window, and when I did, I realized that I had about an inch before the water was level to my car. So I have an SUV. I jumped in the car, saw one of my other neighbors outside, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And it was about almost 2 in the morning, maybe. At that point, I woke my brother up, who lives in Yonkers, and I evacuated my home. My cameras picked up 10 minutes after I left that water flooded. I'm a registered nurse in Westchester County. It took me an hour to get from Elmsford to Yonkers because of all the street closures. I still reported to work the next day. This pandemic has had a lifelong effect on me, and never would I have thought that I would be homeless.
That's okay. We understand.
Sorry. We're not fighting because we lost our basement stuff. We lost our homes. And for all of us, we still have to work through it. I gotta go to work. I still have to help the sick. I have to do my job with clarity. It's very hard to do that when you don't have answers. We still have to pay our mortgages. Ken Edison emailed me and said, you're using 539% more electricity because my home is being dried out. So in addition to $3,000 that I'm paying to stay at a hotel that's close to my job, I'm still responsible for all of my other living expenses. I'm still responsible for my utilities. I'm still responsible for my mortgage, car payments. Every single thing in life is still in effect. And I still have to go forward and have to be strong. I have to do what I have to do, go to work, report to work with clarity, and take care of people. I have people's lives in my hand on a daily basis. And I don't have a home to come to. The winter months are amongst us shortly, and we do not know how long this is going to take. Again, we're not fighting for a basement. We lost everything. Everything. My whole first floor living space. The Sotos, they lost everything on their way up. We need adequate elevation. We're not asking for anything fancy. We just need what we need. 2 days after the flood, when we were cleaning up, there was a water break. So and again, to piggyback on what Ms. Soto was saying, something needs to happen with our sewer system because we couldn't even clean up anymore because the water break happened. We had no running water, couldn't use the toilet, couldn't do anything just 2 days afterwards until midnight when they were able to get it going. Granted, they knocked on every person's door. They let us know they were working diligently. Thank God they got it going at midnight, but we couldn't even clean anymore. So the cleanup has been nonstop. Actually, this Sunday was the first day in 2 weeks that I actually was able to sleep later, where I didn't have to wake up to throw out my belongings, to go through personal items, photos, see what my social security number is on and or not on, paper, everything to make sure that my identity is not stolen in this process. So it's been 2 straight weeks of misery and watching my neighbors throw out all of their belongings. It's just heartbreak. I can't stress that enough. You have a photo of the flood, but actually seeing the aftermath and the cleanup thereafter, it's something that no one should ever have to experience. And when FEMA came out to do their assessment, they mentioned that the home was flooded, and they said, oh, this much was allotted from before with the previous owner. And I was like, well, that was a previous owner. So I don't know how FEMA works. I'm a first-time homeowner, and I'm learning way too much in a short amount of time. I purchased in 2019, but no one should have to go through this. So we're at the point, honestly, that we're begging for all the support that we can get.
Have you been in touch also with the Red Cross at all?
I haven't.
Because the Red Cross has also provided some help. It's not a lot, but it could be some. But when I spoke to the FEMA, representative, who's also like a representative to members of Congress, she strongly suggested that people go to the Wool Library, is on Tuckahoe Road, and Central Avenue, and they're open every day till 7 p.m. And, the suggestion that I would make, as sort of like to expedite this, is you should go to FEMA, to the FEMA Center in Yonkers. Tell them that you want to lift up, the homes. They will have people from every different agency at that site. And they said that it's not always that, that crowded, so you could have a whole group of people say, going on Babbitt Court. If you even won and you let me know, when you'd go, I'd be happy to go with you. And with like a contingent from Babbitt Court, so this way I could personally, get a better handle of the frustrations that people are having, or whether, or not, maybe this is what I'm talking out loud. Maybe we should come up with a date that we will go, and I'll go also. I'll notify Congressman Jones that you're going, and I'll tell the member, or the congressional delegation what time you're gonna be there. I'll tell the FEMA people in advance what time you'll be there. And, I'll mention that I'll be there. And then, in this way, instead of everybody getting a runaround, we'll all go together, and then and then if there's any problems, I could get on the phone with somebody from the congressional office or from the FEMA representative and speed it up. I think that would probably give us the best chance of having an expedited, process. And, if we have to go through the building department, we can have somebody from the building department, I'm gonna make this like really, quick. We could also ask the building department to look at the records from 2004, because obviously there were architects and there was a whole process, and maybe that could speed it up as well. But, I'm available anytime you want to go.
That's what we're asking for. We're just asking for support and just for
Yeah,
people
no,
to.
I want to do more than support. I want to make
provide-
sure you get it quickly.
Right, it's timely. It's a time thing. Because if we get snow like we got last year, it's just going to slow everything up. And how Sydney was saying, last time it took 7 months. Now we're in September, and the winter months are among us. So then how much more does that push everything back? So these are all the
Texan.
things that we have to take into account for. And, just representation in numbers, and the proper representation is what helps us. So that's what we're pleading for right now.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, my calendar. The FEMA office in Yonkers is open until 7 o'clock every night. Tomorrow, if you want to go tomorrow, after work, I just have a meeting at 5 o'clock on Florence Avenue, and they probably want to uplift their homes also. Over the weekend, I'd be available, I'm available like Saturday, I'm available Sunday, I'm available, Friday. Just give me a time that you want to go, and I'll be there with you.
Okay, thank you.
Comment?
You have to come to the mic, you have to come to the microphone, because we,
To mediate with FEMA directly, I'm sorry.
I'm going to be doing that also.
Just because if we go and you represent us, it's all wonderful, but when you get to FEMA, I've been there already in the Red Cross, the first thing they ask you is, do you have flood insurance? Have your flood insurance awarded you the amount to fix your home? What are the funds that you've received? Nothing yet. So then they're pausing, and they say, until that is resolved, we cannot move forward. The whole incentive here, and what we hope to receive your support, the entire group, is to meet with FEMA and direct FEMA to the areas that are really, really hurt badly.
No, but I'm going to.
Focus on that and get us in with FEMA all at once. With the representatives of FEMA. The FEMA representatives that can sign off an agreement with the county in conjunction to fund us or give us the grant or help us walk through this, just because right now we're mitigating in our homes. Her house is stripped down already. My home is filled with mold, and it will be stripped down next week. All the walls are going to be taken out, all the floors, and it took me almost a month to have my insurance, my flood insurance, allow this, accept it. So just a whole month for us to go to FEMA, and you mean well, and we thank you. But for us to go to FEMA tomorrow with you, it's okay. We need the FEMA, the representatives, the people that are going to be giving signatures.
Right, but
We
when I-
need the committee,
but-
and we need them with you
Right, but when
to
I
sit.
when I spoke to them yesterday, I asked them if they'd do that. And they
Yes,
said that's not the way that, I'm just telling you what they said to me.
Ah.
They said that's not the way they work. I was like begging them because, like today, right before this meeting, we were on, Councilman Sheehan and myself, and Ken, Jones, we were on East Hartsdale Avenue. Everybody lost their cars, so we're trying to get FEMA to go, to go there. They're having a meeting next week. I have to reach out to FEMA, which I'm going to do. I have to reach out to the congressional office, which I'm going to do. If they don't do that, then we have to follow their process, and all we could do is our best to make sure that you get the priority.
well, that priority
And I've done, will be the biggest pains in the neck.
That's the thing. So the main thing, again, what Anandi was saying and what I was saying, our homes are stripped down to the beams right now. So this really is the opportune time
We're gonna do, like, I'm gonna
Understood.
treat you like,
because we're already gonna have the winter month. I'm dreading the winter. If this winter is anything like last winter, I'm like, forget it.
we're gonna treat
I lost my
everybody
snow
on
blower.
that, everybody here is gonna be
Everything.
treated like
Understood.
family. So, I'm gonna, the
Well-
thing is, you're gonna get the highest priority. If there's one thing that we're gonna do, it's gonna be to focus on getting your homes uplifted and getting the funding really quickly. And we're not gonna leave any, we're gonna do everything humanly possible. And we're gonna put the maximum pressure on everyone in the federal government and FEMA and the SBA to expedite this.
Thank you.
So it's not gonna be like rhetoric, we're gonna really get, get action, whatever it takes.
We appreciate it.
We appreciate it. Thank you.